The Magna Carta is perhaps the most important document in the history of the Western world. And for 80 years, Harvard University has possessed an original, though, for a long time, it had no idea. University officials believed they had purchased a copy in 1946 for $27.50. However, as Professor David Carpenter of King's College London and Professor Nicholas Vincent of the University of East Anglia have now confirmed, it is indeed one of the 7 originals from the year 1300. Welcome back to Lemmy History. I absolutely had to make a video on this topic, even though it's already been widely covered in the media. I've dedicated my professional life to medieval history, which makes this discovery particularly special for me, and I want to share it with you. I've linked the original article from Harvard in the description. There, you can also find the short video produced by the university. Most of the images in my video are screenshots of the original, but I wanted to go a little further than Harvard did. That's why this video exists. The Magna Carta was originally issued by King John of England in 1215 under pressure from the barons. Subsequent monarchs repeatedly confirmed the document. By the year 1300, new originals were being created, each bearing the signature of the reigning king. Edward I was the last monarch to issue his own original version of the Magna Carta. At that time, 7 copies were produced. In total, 24 originals from various kings survive today. Before the discovery at Harvard, however, only 5 of those 24 were fully preserved. Now there are 6. Many of the existing originals are not accessible to the public, making Harvard's newly authenticated version especially important. The university has already stated its intention to keep the document permanently. Previously, Harvard assumed its document dated from 1327. The university had acquired it from the British bookseller Sweet and Maxwell under this assumption. The bookseller had purchased the supposed copy at auction for £42. The original seller was an Air Force veteran. The auction listing still exists and describes the document, now catalogued as HLS MS 172, as a copy made in 1327, somewhat rubbed and damp-stained. Carpenter was actually researching unofficial copies of the Magna Carta when he accessed the Harvard document online. He quickly began to question whether it was merely a copy, as he recalls. He contacted his colleague Nicholas Vincent and asked for his opinion. The medievalist responded in a millisecond that Carpenter already knew what the document was. The dimensions, 489 millimeters wide by 473 millimeters long, matched exactly with the other 6 originals from Edward I. That was an encouraging sign, according to Carpenter. However, the text also needed to be verified. This is where challenges arose. The Harvard document was at times difficult to decipher. Certain features, such as the capital E for King Edward, were easy to recognize, but other details proved more problematic. Using ultraviolet light and spectral imaging, researchers were able to produce legible images of the text. According to the 2 professors, this edition of the Magna Carta passed the test with flying colors. Together with Harvard, the professors managed to trace the document's provenance beyond 1946. It had previously been part of the archives of Thomas and John Clarkson, 2 men active in the fight against the slave trade since the 1780s. This version of the Magna Carta had originally been issued for the former parliamentary district of Appleby in Westmoreland. The Lowther family acquired the document at some point thereafter. This family, known for their royalist loyalties during the English Civil War, had no shortage of scandals. James Lowther, who was alive when the Magna Carta passed to the Clarksons, was infamously known as Wicked Jimmy. Professor Vincent explains the significance of the Magna Carta. It is a totem of freedom and central to the identity of freedom-loving, free-born people. Carpenter adds that Harvard's Magna Carta should be celebrated as the cornerstone of the freedoms of the past, the present, and those that have yet to be won. And finally, because we're all wondering, what is an original Magna Carta worth? The last time one went to auction, it sold for $21 million US. Thanks for watching. I'm grateful for likes and subscriptions.